good today. First off, I want to say thank you guys for coming out. You know, this event is definitely not about me, it's about us. You know, when I look around this room, man, I'm just amazed at how many beautiful people really care about our community. That's why tirelessly my team and I work, make sure that we work on bringing you the best. And I don't got to tell you about Dame Dash. Like, you know, it's a major honor for me to have this man sit up here today. I remember, and I'm just a quick story, I was washing dishes. I was about 17 years old. I was washing dishes in a nursing home in Florham Park. And during the lunch break, I picked up a magazine, and Dame Dash was being interviewed. And somebody said, you know, with all of the success that you've reached, what keeps you going? He said, man, you know, I take trips to San Tropez where I park my boat next to people's boats that's worth more than my whole company. That's how he stayed motivated. And I quit that following week and I moved to California.
Yes, sir.
You know, and the beautiful thing about this room is looking at the people that you can count on. You know what I mean? Don't just look at these people as, oh, you know, hey, how you doing? What you doing here? No. This is people that can help you jump hurdles that was once impossible. You know, life is extremely short. We're not going to talk about the negative things, you know, about the accident that happened with Kobe Bryant, but to think that him and everybody that was on that helicopter, how quickly your life can be snatched away from you. That's why I constantly preach carpe diem, seizing the moment, never thinking like, yo, I got till next week. No, you got to go right now. So Celebrity Fix and Flip, what's up?
Let's go! Governor, where's Governor?
I don't even have to talk too much on this one. I'm gonna be a teacher. I'm gonna be a listener on this one, man. This mic right here.
The mic is right there.
Oh, they go here? Yeah. Oh, my bad. This is what you brought out, brother. You know, and it's not a concert. This is people want to hear what's on your mind because you've been following me, especially in this Newark, New Jersey area for a very long time. And we're not just saying that because you're sitting right here, but the inspiration that you give our community is huge. You know, and so, man, what can you bless us with, man, as far as the business, what we need to do, and how we need to be more astute to be able to be more profitable in this, if you would say, like this Uber age. I mean, I think awareness is key, and self-worth is key. And when you look into being competitive with other people, you just have to look at your competition and see what you're doing. As you pay attention to the opportunities, you'll see that life will be a lot easier. I just think we don't get the details. And you know, these patterns that are presented to us are presented to control those that don't pay attention and that are easily distracted. So if you keep your eye on the prize and really look at where something that looks like a negative could really be positive, because sometimes things are presented as negative just so that negative people won't see the opportunity and where the positive is, and it makes it a lot less crowded for doing things that make bread. And I think if you can find a positive in what looks like negative and look at the details, you'll see that, you know, life could be a lot easier. It's all about perspective. And at the end of the day, it's not about you. It's about the person that you love, about the person that you take care of. The struggle you go through is so that someone else you love doesn't have to go through a struggle. And you have to understand that's your sole purpose in life. And then every time you go through something, it's so that someone else doesn't have to. And if someone else does that you love, if you can't break a pattern based on experience, then you hustle on the treadmill. It's a waste of time. Why go through pain for nothing? And if you gain from pain, it's not pain, it's sore. because you're expanding like a muscle. And the more you do something, the better you get at it. And you can never expect to do something the best the first time. Practice makes perfect. So a loss should never be a loss. It has to be a learning experience. But at the end of the day, if ownership isn't involved, you're playing the wrong game.
Well, that's one reason why I brought Daniel up here, because him, Do It All, and myself have decided to partner up and start buying properties all over urban America. But we start right here with Newark, New Jersey. You know what I mean? So that lets you know the value that's in your city. You know, I always talk about what's happening down the street. We used to own the Bear Stadium. Everybody know where the Bear Stadium is, right? Yeah. You know, the Bear Stadium was bought for $24 million to be torn down so they can build something else. So while you are not seeing the value in which the land that you step on every single day, that you curse, that you say, man, I can't wait to move, other communities, it don't matter if it's black, white, it's all about opportunities. It's America. If you're not seizing those opportunities, then you're missing out on it. So if somebody can see something, as your dirt worth $24 million, it's no reason why how many people don't own houses? And be honest and don't be ashamed. That's a problem. That's a problem, especially when you have a city where the mayor wants you to buy houses, where the mayor don't want you to be pushed out. You understand? But if you're not going to take the necessary steps to do what you're supposed to do, then what can happen? Then it's a free market. So when I take the time and I bring, you know, icons and moguls here, first of all, I got to stop the mic for a second. Round of applause for our mayor. That's creeping in.
All right.
And so when I take the time, please respect the mic. I know y'all want to record, but please make sure that it don't go into the Facebook Live. So when we're talking about the caliber of people that's next to you, I also want to give a round of applause to the first Haitian councilman of East Orange, my friend, my brother, Bergson Linnaeus. Hey, can I bring you up here for 2 seconds? Just 2 seconds, man. 2 seconds. I know it's our show, but you know, this is your city, and because of you, you know, we're here today.
Definitely want to make a formal introduction, man. Mayor Ras Baraka, my brother, Dame Dad. Definitely gonna get busy and do it.
Oh yeah, definitely. So you witnessing history right now happening in front of your eyes. So when 5 years, 10 years goes from now, you can no longer say, oh, you know what? I didn't have an opportunity to be part of this renaissance that's happening in front of you. So, you know, no disrespect, but you got tons of New Yorkers, because New York is overly populated, that's moving over here. So like I said, they're seeing the value and we're not seeing the value, hence why we partnered up, you know, buying some of these properties. What did you see happen in Harlem, and where people that are from there didn't take advantage that, you know, could potentially happen here?
You know, years ago, everyone was saying you need to invest in the brownstone. But at the end of the day, no one had any money. They were all trying to survive. So no one had any money to put down 10% of anything. You want to go into a bank. So it was like, yeah, I'll get to that. First, I got to pay the bills. So no one could really think about chess. It's always been about chess. So it was an opportunity missed. What's ultimately happened is every single inch of concrete on or in Manhattan or anywhere near New York City is worth a lot more than anything else around the world. And that's because people travel all over the place to make it here. They need a place to live, and there's an economy that comes with all of that. So I watch places like Tribeca, you know, become over, or because like a guy like Robert De Niro goes there, you know, people go down there, but then when there's a tragedy, no one's there. I was like, well, let me buy up anything I can right now. They're not going to hit it twice. You know, that was after the 9/11 situation. And also, I wanted to be alone. I'm not paying to be next to people, but when you become destination, everyone wants to be around you. So, you know, looking at Newark, there's definitely a narrative that I've heard and bought into just based on my experience and the extreme things that I've read about. But when Doitall invited me here and I saw what was going on, I was like, this isn't really what I've been reading about. So I see a whole lot of opportunity here. And I'm not thinking about today, I'm thinking about tomorrow. But I also see a lot of talent out here. And I feel like, you know, me, I like to get in a new destination, so before it gets crowded, I want to get in early. And, you know, when you're getting with a circle like yourself, of independent thinkers, a black mayor, obviously someone that's, you know, been living the same day-to-day struggles as everyone else, so they're relatable and knows what needs to be fixed. And a guy like Doitall, it's like, yo, we need to all come together, we need to stick together, set a precedent for the rest of the country. But there's a lot of opportunity here, and, you know, it's relatively vacant as far as the rest of the world. But there's a lot of people here that really have a pure agenda, and instead of renting these blocks and fighting over blocks that you don't own, you know, you might as well guard those blocks, beautify those blocks, make more value in those blocks, and pass something to your children, and, you know, have something that can generate some income. But at the end of the day, the problem is, you know, how do you get a loan? You know, when you're first generation, you don't have anybody to co-sign for you. And you have no guidance, and you're trying to survive in that moment. So the way you've been articulating things, you would do it all, and the amount of things y'all been doing, like, you know, you ain't talking about it, you're really doing it. I just felt like it just, you know, made logical sense to be here. I like what everything is represented, and the future looks good. But it's like, you know, there's some pride that comes with the people here. And there's some value that people are not looking at, and that's the best time to get in, when people aren't paying attention. And distractions are strategic. So I wonder, like, yo, Hollywood, or rather movies, were made a lot in Newark a long time ago. How come they're not doing it no more? How come they're making it look so bad? And it's not so bad. And when I come here, I feel safe. I don't have no security. I live in an Uber.
That's right.
And
We got 'em.
And there's a lot of flavor, you know. Everybody is actually really talented. You know, I've been surprised. But, you know, Doitall is a guy I trust blindly, so when he says show up, I show up. And as of yet, I haven't been disappointed. But at the end of the day, every time I talk to him and his crew, he's never talking about himself. Everyone's always talking about helping everybody else. And that's really more about what I'm about. Us understanding who we are, understanding what we can do, and pay attention to the opportunities like they do. And at the end of the day, we gotta stick together. And that's why I'm here.
Absolutely. Now, one key thing that the brother said is people weren't buying things in Harlem and Tribeca because they didn't have the 10%. I want y'all to take a look at this right here. This is funding opportunity. We have up to $180 million of available funding. So every hurdle and every excuse that I've heard, I went out and I conquered it, rolled up my sleeves. Listen, you don't understand what it is to be a young black man to have a restaurant right next to the federal building, and I only have black events. So the sacrifice that I take on every day to be able to educate us, because I started off as a school first, but nobody was listening. No one wanted to deal with the top, with the crown chakra. So we dealt with the lower chakra. But even there, this is school right here. You know, how often are you going to be next to the mayor of your city, and then an icon, two icons, and council people? So the lack that we once had is no longer that anymore. It's about you having that mindset, the Mamba mindset, to be able to overcome these things. Because when you can buy a house at $150,000, use a 203K loan to renovate that property, and the property has a $200,000 value in it, you can refinance that, pull 75 to 80% of that $200,000, and now you can build your community, the self-worth that you have in seeing that. You understand what I'm saying? I haven't seen a lot of these faces at these men's and women meetings. Most of these politicians don't give a damn. But you really have, and I'm not saying it because the man's right here. I'm just telling you, to be able to own a black restaurant on Broad Street, no disrespect, I'm not on Nye Avenue, I'm on Broad Street, front and center, next to the Prudential Center. You know, that's pride. And La Rouge is what it is because of you guys. So I definitely want to give y'all a round of applause for that. There's some abandoned properties initiative that the mayor and the staff is pushing for us to buy properties. But we're not doing the homework on learning how to become developers. Mayor, I want a job, I want grants, I want this. But who's doing their homework? Who's getting bonded? Who's getting insured? Who's going to Rutgers where you could get the SBC classes where you're able to get the funding? All we want to do is hop on social media and follow. No, that's not what you want to do. Because let me tell you, with this automated world that's in front of us, I'm Haitian. I'm first generation American born in my family. I remember a big thing in my family was owning a medallion. Overnight, Uber dropped the value of a medallion from $150,000 to peanuts. Right now, McDonald's, they don't even need the people in the front anymore. They press a button and your burger's coming out. How do you stay ahead of that time? Let me tell you how you stay ahead of that time. You see everybody in here? You know it's tax season, everybody gonna take their little tax money, go buy beds, book vacations. If we pull our money together and we open our own bank, we don't gotta worry about funding. Because we funding ourselves. We funding ourselves. So when I bring a brand ambassador and someone who has done it, not about to do it, that's why we all here. We gotta just soaking in that vibe and that information is huge. Dang, with the things that's happening around the world, you know, the crime that's in Chicago, the crime that's in California, little Haiti and Miami, what do you think that is lacking in our community why that can't stop or slow down?
Well, the problem is everyone's in desperation mode. They're struggling to survive. So, you know, when you become desperate, you say, you know, I'm going to bend rules. I'm going to do anything to eat. I got to eat. And the problem is everyone's first generation. Everyone's struggling. The 99% trying to get into that 1%. And unless you're an entertainer, you know, unless you're a distraction, you don't get to get out of that. And the 1% has family members that can co-sign for you, that can give you credit, give you that support. We're always trying to rub two sticks together and justify just treating each other bad. And we're programmed to fight each other as opposed to fighting those that are actually hurting us as a distraction. You know, we're muscle and we're brain, but you know, the people that are controlling us are only using their brain because they have no muscle to control us, to distract us from them making us do all the work. But logically speaking, if the 99% stuck together, the 1% would have no one to work for them. They would have no one to protect them. And the narrative could change. I mean, it makes logical sense, and we can't be mad if someone wants to make sure their family doesn't have to do physical work for generations, and that they've strategically put a plan together to control people to be happy to be given a job and work every day for someone else's equity and not their own. And their children have to start from scratch every time. You're never allowed to give any support. But the only way for us to give each other support is to support each other. So if we start to stick together and understand our power and stop being in survival mode and try to protect the plug and work for those that exploit us as opposed to those that try to help us. You know, people that make money keep us as soldiers instead of generals because they want someone to do the physical work. I look for partners. You know, I think the richer and the more my friends have money, the less I have to worry. I have support. And when you know you have support, your actions are not based on emotion. And survival is more based on logic. But we're always in an emotional place, programmed to fight each other and get accolades when we're violent and be tough, but it doesn't yield. And fight for concrete we don't own, which is not logical. So it seems strategic because it's a pattern that's over and over again that's strategically not broken. So it's going to take something a little bit disruptive because it's different to do it. And love needs to be the dominant factor where you're protecting people you love as to only protecting yourself. So if your plan only includes you protecting you, wrong plan. Your plan has to include protecting your generations so that there could be some aggravation from the spoiledness because your child didn't have to deal with the same struggles and your only problem is figuring out how to make your child appreciate that. as opposed to him appreciating how to protect themselves and how to eat only for themselves.
At a small glance, how many attorneys in the room? I see about 7 attorneys in the room. How many realtors in the room? Raise your hand high. This is free money I'm giving y'all. How many construction companies are in the room? Not enough construction companies. I see a couple of them in the room. How many bankers in the room? Avery, go ahead and raise your hand, Avery. Avery flew all the way from Israel to be here with us today. Thank you for that, brother. Definitely. No, we got some heavy hitters in here. So I'm pointing out all of these things. How many people don't own houses again? Okay. So if you don't own a house, right?
The IRS can't take it.
If you don't, if you don't own a home and you a realtor, the average profit margin in the house in Essex County is about $30,000 to $50,000, right? That's average number. Those is real numbers. I'm not doing the deal unless it's $50,000. So that means I looked at over 60 people who didn't own homes. What's 60 times 30,000? Don't just scream out numbers. How much? How much?
1.8.
How much?
1.8.
So I just showed you how there's $1.8 million in this room, and I know some people were shy. They didn't really want to raise their hand. I know a lot more of us don't own property. So what did I do? I had the realtors raise their hands. I had the lawyers raise their hands. I've had construction companies raise their hands. Obviously, we're surrounded by the people that can help us cross the red tape. I got the bankers in the hand. How many credit restoration people we have in here? How many people got bad credit in here? Okay, so why did I do this? Why did I do this exercise? Hold on a second. Why did I do that exercise? So I could show you how much money is around you, but if your face is always frowned up, if you don't want to talk to anybody, if you feel because you graduated magna cum laude, you don't want to deal with this person. No, I'm just saying, a lot of us are professional students. Yo, go to school, go to school, go to school, but you never do nothing. That's not ripping school down. It's about taking what you learn, giving it to the next person, and building your community. Because my daughter can marry your son, so any problem that happens in the community is my problem. Because if you have children and loved ones, you don't know who they're going to be connected to. So if you got that mindset, like Mr. Dash was talking about, where it's only one person, then that's how your generations gets connected to other people that you don't necessarily want to, and you have a broken community. So I'm showing you that you got $1.8+ million in this room today. We do this every Monday. But how many people going to take the time to collect business cards and do the follow-ups? A lot of times you feel good. It's called mental masturbation. You feel good about being in rooms like this, but you're not going to be actionary about it. Because you stuck in samenism. You're going to wake up, troll Instagram for 30 minutes, troll Facebook for another 30 minutes, go on Snapchat, do all of these other things. The whole day went by. The whole day went by. You making your first phone call at 3 o'clock. Real business people is done by 3 o'clock. The importance of the follow-up. Every meetup that's around that I notice, how much do they charge? $30 to get in, $25, buy my book. This is free information. Because when I walk into the heavens of God, I don't want to hear like I didn't do my job. Some people can't afford $10 to get in here, $20 to get in here. But to me, you're doing yourself and myself a disservice, because this isn't free for me. You're doing yourself a disservice by not doing the follow-up to bring these two people out. Just this magnitude. I got NBA players in here. I'm not even going to call certain people out. The energy that's in this room is what I want you to get. That energy. Bringing back that energy so you can build off of that. You got April that's about to roll around, so the real estate market is going up. You're not looking at the value of vacant land. You can buy a vacant land for $30,000. The city of Newark and East Orange accepts modular homes. So even if you're not a builder, a modular home company makes you an expert builder overnight. Overnight, it makes you an expert builder. So if I buy a lot for $30,000, the permits cost me $5,000, architectural plans and soft costs cost me another $5,000. I'm in it for $40. It cost me $200 to build. How much is my total investment? $240. I don't want to answer this question. Realtors, what are 2 and 3 families brand new built going for in Newark? Come on, man, I just showed y'all $200,000. You walking past land and spitting on it, throwing bags of potato chips, not even realizing what's going on. Not even realizing what's going on. $180 million. How much is my phone going to ring tomorrow? I'll probably get 2 calls. I just showed y'all all of these opportunities that surround and what's going to happen. Other communities are going to come, see the value, and what you going to do? You're going to yell at him, you selling us out! You selling us out! I've had people come on social media because they just look at the LLC. They be like, oh, you selling all of these houses to these white people, and here's the company, Alpha Development, 972 Broad Street. I said, the last time I checked, my melanin was intact. So, because in your mind, you don't feel like people like yourself can buy properties, you only think that other nationalities can buy properties. Come on. Come on. We got to do better than that. We got to do better than that, my people. It's no information that you're going to hear about real estate that you haven't heard before. I brought this brother out because one thing about him, he do boss talk. He don't stop. It don't matter who he in front of. He going to speak his mind. So I didn't bring him here necessarily to give you real estate information. I wanted you to be next to a multi-millionaire. So when he talks about you don't have a family member to co-sign for you, he's a family member for you. Because when the slave trade happened, we don't know where they put our people. So you might be related to somebody that you don't even know. So you can't look at family as only blood. You got to look at family as those that share the same mindset as you. Because I don't got to tell you, you got a lot of family members that'll do you worse than people that you meet on the street. And with lawyers, and the reason that you need a good lawyer, and I'm sorry to be long-winded, is because that contractual agreement is going to make sure that it protects you. If you don't own any real estate, you don't own anything.
Amen. Quick question.
Yes, sir.
And this is posed to the mayor and Damien yourself. Like when you talk about all of these problems or these situations that we don't attack or we don't approach because we believe we can't do it, how do we begin to change the narrative from city government? Mayor, you have been on the ground with us in the activist form to being in a political position. Dame, you taught us all how to be a boss and don't work for anybody, if you don't have to. But how do we begin to change the narrative for the people who believe that that's not possible because of the situations or the circumstances that they're in?
Can I get the mayor to answer?
Yeah.
I want to hear your voice.
So thank you, brother. Part of it is what he's doing, right? That's why we having a men's breakfast on February 17th,
Right.
As well. And the work that we're trying to do and the work that he's doing. But ultimately, the best way is they have to see people out here doing it. That's the best way, right? So people have to get out here and get it done, and they have to see those people and see that they look like them, that they came from the same circumstance, that if they can do it, I can do it too. Because we have that in us, right? So at the end of the day, we have a bad feeling about ourselves, so I'm gonna have a bad feeling about you. My skin is vulnerable, right? So it's easy for people to attack me as opposed to somebody that doesn't look like me, because my skin is vulnerable. So when I begin to do something positive, people automatically think it's easy. So, and that's pros and cons to that. The con is, basically what they think about themselves and think about me as well. The pro side of that is they believe they can do it. And if they believe they can do it, then they'll get out here and try to get it done. And they may run into some pitfalls and stuff. That's why it's important for us to have programs to catch them, because they bound to fall. To catch them and say, I'm glad you're in it. These are mistakes that you made, but we want to make sure that you get back up and stay at it and do it again. So the work that this brother is doing, Sari, a whole bunch of other people in this city, that's getting it done, that's putting projects, that's cutting ribbons, that's building in this town. The more I can highlight those people, the more it'll catch on.